So we've gone through the home page, Meet Your Instructor, syllabus, and weekly modules, and now we're on the discussion board. So you'll want to visit the discussion board often. Just as I've said, visit the Blackboard site at least 4 times a week. You do want to check in with your discussion board. You're doing introductions this first week. Go ahead and do your introduction and then read your classmates' introductions so that you can get to know them as well. You will see the same students in your classes as you go through the program. So it's a good idea to start introducing yourselves and getting to know each other. If you have questions, general questions about the course or assignment questions, the first thing you need to do is go to the syllabus. The second thing you need to do is to go to the week 1 module and watch the videos on the syllabus and on the assignments or on Blackboard. And if you still have questions, go ahead and post them here. I try to look at Blackboard every day. I don't get to it every day, but at least 4 times a week, just like you, I will look at Blackboard and I'll answer your questions here. Post the questions that you think other people might have or might want the answers to. If it's something that's specific to your situation, email me. So if it's something that's general that everybody could benefit from hearing the answer, you can post it here. But if it's something specific to your situation, go ahead and just send me an email and I'll respond to it through email. But here's a place for you to ask questions, and somebody else might be able to answer your question also if it's a question that they had or that they might know the answer to if it's a general question. Later in the course, when you're doing, I believe it's part 2 now, when you're doing the accessing resources, you're going to summarize articles, resources, and organizations. And I want you to post your summaries here. You can do it after they're graded, but I do want you to post them here so that everybody can go back and revisit these summaries and see what the resources are that are available to families and young children who have developmental delays or disabilities. It's a great way for you to start building your list of relevant references and organizations so you can start to learn the field. Then, every other week, you will have a discussion board post that you will use for attendance and participation. You'll see the points value. You'll see what the prompt is, and then you'll see when it's due. If you post it late, you will not receive these points. Just as if you missed class, you wouldn't receive the attendance and participation points, you won't receive the points if you're posting late. So make sure that you're aware of these due dates for your discussion posts. I don't want you to go way ahead and just do all your discussion posts. You have to read the content in the weekly modules to be able, and read your textbook to be able to do a good job with your posts. So don't jump ahead and try and get all the discussion boards done all at once, because that's not going to work. So make sure as you're going through the weekly modules that you are looking to see whether or not you have a discussion board post, and then once you've read the weekly module, then you can go ahead and do it. So again, it needs to be a high quality response for you to receive all of these points. Just because you post something doesn't mean that you're going to get the full points. You need to be doing a good job, just as you would in class, by participating in discussions and having information to share. You're going to have a well-written response here to earn the points as well. So you can see that you have one just about every other week. I didn't do it for every week. I made them worth more points and kind of gave you a break since it's summer, so you don't have to do something every week. But again, go ahead and make note of what the prompts are, when they're due, and all of this information will be on the course overview when I get that up and running as well. And again, that should be by the end of this first week. So that is the discussion board. Then you're going to go to the assignments tab, and in the assignments tab, you have a folder for your main assignments and to post them. So you have a folder for field experience, and here's the approval form. The approval form is right here under assignments. This is the link that you want to click to register So this is what you have to do by the due date for the approval form. You have to click this and register that you need to get set up with your field experience. You're going to fill this out, and if you haven't received your placement, if you're not a contracted teacher and you're not setting up your own and you're not doing your own placement, you need to fill this out, and you can put that you're waiting on your placement from the field experience office. And then when you get your placement, make sure you send me an email, because I do keep track of the schools that you're going to be visiting. So here's the field experience approval form. When you're finished, completed your 15 hours of field experience, you get your mentor teacher to sign the form saying that you completed the full 15 hours. For those of you that are going through the field experience office and they are placing you in a school, you're going to complete this form. We do have students that are fully contracted teachers in local school divisions, meaning they're either a teacher, some teaching on provisional licenses, or they're instructional assistants working in the schools. Those students are allowed to do their field experience in their classrooms or in their schools pending my approval, and you have a different documentation form to complete, and your assistant principal or principal signs it rather than a mentor teacher. So those are the two different forms. If you have any questions, just send me an email. If you're not a contracted employee with a local school division, public school division, then you cannot set up your own field experience. There are some very strict state guidelines for what can constitute a field experience and what kind of school. And for private schools, it has to be an approved and accredited school, and this is for our accreditation as a teacher preparation program as well. So it's not that we're saying, oh, it's just a public school and you can't do private schools. We have some very, very strict guidelines that we have to follow for accreditation purposes. So that's where you're going to do the documentation, and then here's where you will do your field experience reflection. This is where you will submit. And again, I put the description of what you have to do right here on the folder. So just click on here, upload your document, and submit. And that's it for field experience. So there's a bunch of documents here now for the professional practice project. First thing, if you click in here, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, this is where you submit. There's just a little blurb right here. Then click on in and you can submit parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. If you go back to the assignments section, here is the full professional practice project with a description of part 1, part 2, and part 3. It's kind of all together. Tells you what to do whether you're a graduate student or an undergraduate student. It says 405 and 505 students. And so this is just an overview taken from the syllabus, copied from the syllabus, just so it's in another place here. You can have it underneath assignments. So just another way for you to find the same information. Then there are some resources for you. I'm going to go to case studies first. Let's actually move that up. And I'll put your case studies. Remember, back on Blackboard, under forming a PLC, there was a chart that said what group you were in. Here are the case studies for your professional practice project. If you're in the ADHD, ADD group, here's your case study. If you're in the autism group, here's your case study. If you're in the intellectual disability group, here's your case study. And if you're in the speech language impairment group, here's your case study. So this is where you can find the case studies for your assignments. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Resources for the professional practice project. This is one that I will be updating again this first week of class. All of the resources are relevant and they're fine, but you can see we've changed the parts. So this part 1, accessing resources, is now part 2. So I need to not just change this, but I need to go in and redo a video so that I don't say part 1 and confuse you when it's really part 2. But if you want to watch those, just know that I will be updating these. The foundational knowledge is now part 1. The IEP used to be part 2, and now the IEP is part 3. So these two are mixed up. So I will go in and I will redo all of these for you. But there are videos. The content of the videos are fine. It's just the parts have changed. The part numbers have changed. But just know that you will have a video explaining each of the parts. I don't have a video for part 4. I've never done a video for part 4 because it is a reflection. But I think since I'm just updating all the videos, I'll go ahead and do one for you. So look for that in the near future. Then there is a video about putting the whole paper together for TK20. If you've never done a key assessment and never put the whole project together into one paper, this is a good video to watch. So you want to make sure that you're putting the paper together correctly. And again, all of this needs to be revised because the parts have changed. There's also a graphic that can show you how to put parts 1, 2, and 3 and how to do your transitions and get to the whole paper as needed to submit to TK20. So those are your resources for the professional practice project. Again, they'll be updated very soon. And that's what the assignment section looks like. The one thing that is missing is where to submit the statement of philosophy for graduate students, and I will go ahead and add that. So just make note that there will be one more assignment, and I'll put it right underneath here, and that will be for graduate students. So that would be the assignment section. I'm going to skip resources, and you cannot see assessments right now. You will not see assessments until the end of the course. I will not open this link until the very end of the course because I don't want you to turn in something to this link until you get to that full project. So this is what the assessment section looks like. There will be another link in here. They're not finished putting up the links. It says 505 right here. There will also be a link for 405. And when you click on the link, you'll see a list of the student names, and you're going to submit that full paper with all 4 parts together. This is where it goes. This is TK20. And this is where, when I bring it up and I open your document, I can also open that rubric, and this is where I score you a 3 or a 4, a meets or exceeds expectations. So everybody has to be at meets by the end of the course, and this is where I do that. This is TK20. It's just under assessments. And again, it's not open right now, and it won't be open until the end of the course. So let's go back to resources. And you have the APA manual that you must get, but if you want an abridged version, or you're looking for something really quick and maybe you're not at home and you're somewhere and you don't have your book with you, you can go to Purdue OWL, which is the online writing lab, and it has some information on APA format. So you can look for citations and references, etc. There's general format of APA. So this is a good resource for you. It does not have all the information that's in the manual. So when you're looking for some of those more obscure references, you really do need to have the manual, and you can't get the information here. I'll tell you the one thing that I really like Purdue OWL for, and in addition to just being quick and dirty where you can find something really quickly, I like to come all the way down to the APA sample paper. And I like to click on that, and then I can see this sample paper right here, and I can open it up if I want. I can download it and open it. But I like this. I'm a very visual person, so I like this visual. This is what your title page should look like. When you're doing your running head, which is a header, you can see what has to be upper and lowercase. And then it gives you notes. This can't be any more than 50 characters. It tells you, it shows you exactly what should be for your title. You have your title, your name, and your university. That's it. I do not require an author's note. You don't have to put this on. But it tells you everything about how to write a paper and shows it to you. I don't require abstracts. So when you're doing your papers, you don't have to do the author's note and you don't have to do the abstract. Everything else, I expect it to look like this. It tells you you have to be in Times New Roman 12.2